Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Running. Berto Will is your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today, as usual. Welcome aboard, Alistair Waters. You're checking in on the screen at AVQ. Welcome aboard, he says. Egberto, no open commentary for me today. I'm hopeful that you're going to cover highlights from the January 6th hearing and maybe Bernie Sanders' debate with Lindsey Graham and not get too distracted by whatever chat throws your way. Today, I'm not going to take care of, I'm going to do something about the chat. Or rather, about the January 6th, because Joe Scarborough has something wonderful to say about it, and I want everybody to hear that. I'm going to talk about a great article on the economy, greedflation, that's in the New York Times. I was very impressed with the article, though I didn't agree with the one side says this, the other side says this of that thing, so I was not in agreement with that. And, of course, we're going to cover unions, because we know that Howard Hewitt's of the guy who runs Shorts. Howard Shorts, the guy who runs Starbucks, who came back to run Starbucks. Anti-union, we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I have a little teaser. Fox News told the truth. Well, kinda, but it was enough to get me saying, Fox News told the truth? Is that really possible? Did they really tell the truth? And actually, it's kind of so, folks. It's kind of so. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and get started. And where I want to start off with Scarborough and Trump. And since we don't have a lot of commentary from Brother Rudnin, it gives me a chance to play that whole particular video that I think it's important, and I think it's something that specifically for my right-wing listeners and my conservative listeners, heed, I repeat, heed what Brother Joe Scarborough, a good conservative, has to say, all right? Because I think it will make a difference. So without further ado, Brother Scarborough, take it away. Kudos to Joe Scarborough. Want to start by showing a person, a conservative, who accurately describes Donald Trump and what as well the Republican Party has become. Important piece. Want you to take a listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side, because it is important that this is the message that is cauterized that Republicans would hear, given it's coming from a conservative.
Absolute war zone that the West Front had become.
You know, in John 8:32, Jesus told his disciples, "And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." It was the truth put before the American people in gripping video and painful testimony that was laid bare last night before the January 6th committee. It was the truth about Donald Trump, stripped to its ugliest core, as Americans saw graphic images that forever demolished Trump's fantasy of his rioters as, quote, peaceful people, great people. The truth? Well, you heard Officer Edwards' testimony last night, painfully recalling her fellow cops being beaten by Trump's savage mob. Her fellow officers were bleeding. They were throwing up. I was slipping in people's blood, she said. It was carnage. It was chaos. I can't even describe what I saw. The truth? That unlike any president who has ever served before him in this great republic, Donald Trump refused to call off the attacks on America's Capitol and even yelled to his staff that the violent mob was doing exactly what they should be doing. Trump would not stop the riots. The truth. When Donald Trump learned of the mob's threats to hang his own vice president, Trump told his staff, quote, maybe our supporters have the right idea. He deserves it. And knowing Mike Pence and his family were in danger and on the move to try to find a secure location in the Capitol, the defeated president decided to pour more gasoline on the fire and put the Pence family's life in even graver danger. The truth. Trump knew the election wasn't stolen. You've already heard his attorney general. He called it bullshit. His daughter sided with his attorney general. His chief of staff said there was no there, and there never was. Trump knew it. Giuliani knew it. Fox News knew it. And Republicans who sold their soul to a failed game show host also knew it from the start. They still do. The truth can set them free. Jesus is right. It can set them free from the lies, from the conspiracy theories, from the un-American attacks, from the seditious actions that define who Donald Trump is. But they have to actually open their eyes, watch the evidence, listen to the testimony, and turn away from the cyclone of lies that have enveloped them and their political lives since that dreadful day when they chose cowardice over courage and party over patriotism. For those who continue to betray their country by betraying that country and repeating Donald Trump's lies, well, there's another Bible verse from the Gospel of John, and it's this. This is the verdict. Light and truth has come into the world, but these people love darkness instead of light because their deeds were evil.
I could not have said that any better than Joe Scarborough. So should we leave it there? Yes, except for one thing. For those who continue to try to force themselves into believing that what occurred on January 6th was justified because of some failed voter theft or whatever, it is your choice to remain uninformed. It is your choice to absorb the disinformation. It is your choice to be gullible. And in doing so, you are hurting not only yourselves, your families, etc. You're not only hurting the country, but you're hurting all those who are dependent on having an America that has a semblance of stability and also a semblance of having people with the intellect that deserves a democracy, that can keep a democracy. Because I tell you what, this is something that I tell people all of the time. People always talk about, we want a democratic republic. We want a democratic country. And one of the things I have to make people aware of many a times is a democratic country requires people with a certain level of intellect. The reality is the Republican Party on the right and neoliberals in the middle have been for a long time trying to make Americans more dumb, dumber, dumbest. And the reason why is the only way we can have a democracy, the semblance of a democracy, with an economic system that pilfers everybody, and have those who are being pilfered not looking at the source of said pilfering, but instead seeking to find others to blame. The only way that is successful is if and only if you have a population with a dwindling level of intellect. So those of you that are Politics Done Right listeners, those of you that are Politics Done Right watchers, our goal is to elevate us all, elevate the intellect of us all. As the truth is, we lose our country as we diminish our intellect. And that is important for us to acknowledge. We lose our country as we diminish our intellect. And for too long, that is what we've been doing, diminishing our intellect. And anyone who has understood the Powell Manifesto understands that it was no accident. It was absolutely not an accident that we decided to give up on our intellect. Okay, welcome aboard, Daniel Lado. Welcome aboard, Michael Rudden, E2247. Welcome aboard, Haiku333. Welcome aboard, Maywood. Gusto en verte, my dear friend. Lee Grant is in the house. Who else is in the house? I'm going up. AC Rodriguez, how are you doing, my dear brother? E2247 is in the house as well. We also have Shiva Las Vegas. Is that somebody? Shiva Las Vegas. Alistair Waters. Welcome, my dear Alistair. Yvette Avery Herod, our beautiful union specialist, actually union leader. Welcome aboard to the program. Thank you so kindly for being here. All right, let's see what's up. Eric Hayes, of course, he's going to say, looks like Ducey put the press girl in her place. That's a joke. but I know any little thing would kind of get you guys wrangled because you got a sister that is on the other side of the spectrum, and oh, we got to do something to get her. We got to do something to get her. Man, that dummy Ducey could not lay a hands on that lady of intellect. Okay? Couldn't lay a hands on that lady of intellect, that learned woman who came and played ball in the same game with our other beautiful lady, Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki and Karine Jean-Pierre, two beautiful women that make those men in that room look like silly kids. Not silly kids, silly boys. The two women of all persuasions made all those punks look like exactly what they are. Silly boys with nothing else to do. Anyhow, continuing, Daniel Ledo says, LOL, Joe is no good conservative. Apparently, Egberto doesn't know what a conservative is. Michael Rudnin replies, Daniel Ledo, yes, do tell. What is a good conservative nowadays? We don't know. Eric Hayes replies, why is this guy quoting scripture when he's against it during pandemic like the other press wanting to limit churches? Oh my God, Eric, you know, every time you open your mouth with one of those statements, it exudes the lies of the right. You know, you always used to tell me that you don't listen to right-wing media. So why do you quote the words that are so nonsensical? I'm going to read your words slowly. Why is the guy quoting scripture when he was against it during pandemic like the other press wanting to limit churches? Nobody wanted to limit churches. Churches, people are in close quarters. If they are in close quarters, they get infected. If they were going to keep infection in that church so that all those fools who want to believe otherwise that science does not exist, it would have been okay. Stay in the church and die among each other. Although I hate that. I'm too humane to really believe what I just said. I don't. But sometimes you get sufficiently upset that that's what you want to have. Go die on your own. But don't come and pollute and infect us all because you decide to limit your intellect and follow the people who are killing you, those people themselves at Fox News and elsewhere who went ahead and got their own injections, their own inoculations, their own vaccinations, while they told their pews not to. It's criminal. And you buying that stuff is beneath you. E2247 says, hello. Eric Hayes back out. Truth is not being told now, but just blame it. No, we only tell the truth. You cannot tell me something that I said here that is a lie. You tell me you guys keep shooting out your mouth. I want you to tell me something that I lied about. Just don't talk crap. Please, my dear brothers and sisters, if you from my right flank say I am saying something that is wrong, tell me what it is, and then we can actually have a discourse. But otherwise, you're just a parrot of a uneducated right. AC Rodriguez says, replying to Michael Rodney, yes, I'm interested as well. Also, do they believe in the original take care of poor and sick Jesus or the Republican Jesus? They believe in the Republican Jesus prosperity. I am trying to enlighten those who are truly Christians. We look at somebody like Eric Hayes. He does care about people. Unfortunately, he has tunnel vision in that the people he has respect for cares nothing about neither him or people. But, sometimes it's difficult to get the truth across, especially when you have certain prejudices that makes you believe that you belong somewhere that actually harms you because, again, of the said prejudices that you have. Okay. Let's see. Eric Hayes, why isn't Pelosi being asked questions? Why should she? Is she on the committee? No, she's not. She's the leader of the House. If they have questions for the leader of the House, she'll answer. Go to listen to her on Thursdays. That's when she gives her speech every Thursday. But it does, what happens? They don't show it on TV. So as far as you guys are concerned, it doesn't exist. Because you're not looking for news. You're looking for whatever Fox News is parroting to you. Michael Rudnin says, you'll pardon me, but those who did January 6th can be called many things, but cowardice is not that I can attribute to them. Actually, I do attribute cowardice to them. Cowardice doesn't mean you're scared of something that cowardness doesn't only mean that you are scared and because of scared you don't act. Cowardice can be you are scared also and act because you think the other act will be bigger on you, so you're scared of that act. So I think they are cowards. Daniel Edo says the January 6th show trial is a disgraceful act of political warfare. I don't know what you're going to say. Everything. I mean, there are Republicans out there that are and still are devoted to Donald Trump as a person, that came out and just proved what a pathetic human being he is. Come on, they are the ones. They're just telling the truth, and they're all Republicans. Come on now. Again, you make statements without backing any of it up with any kind of facts. What makes it political warfare? It is the truth these people are telling. What makes that political warfare? Haiku says, because the hearings are based on facts, Eric Hayes, not Fox News fantasies. That's true. Lee Grant says, maybe we should have an IQ test for voting. Oh, wow. Then we'll definitely have a progressive country. All right. Michael Rudden says, Daniel Edo, I'm not seeing any guillotines in the streets starting to reign of terror. Political warfare? What are you talking about? That's what occurred on 6th. On the 6th, we had people walking with military gear. We had guillotines on the mall. We had things to hang up and put the noose around the vice president. Come on, again, the projection of these guys is amazing. When progressives are doing things, we do things with words. We do things with intellect. These guys marched onto the Capitol with guns. They marched onto the Capitol with a guillotine. They marched onto the Capitol with bombs. They marched onto the Capitol with bear spray. They marched onto the Capitol with things to cause harm to other bodies. And who is it doing warfare again? You see how you guys project and are disjointed from reality? Do you see that? All right. Haiku 33 says, trying to overthrow our free country was a disgraceful act of political warfare. Daniel Edo, thank you for scoring him up, Haiku. Maywood says, hello, everyone. Hello, Maywood. Haiku says, we already tried that, Ely Grant. It was stuck down as racist. All right, I love when you guys actually have the right answers. What are the political purposes of nostalgia? Why does the GOP idealize the American past? And what can this backward-looking perspective give or take away from the collective? It's funny, we want things to be the way they used to be. I don't want to live back in the 50s where there are poll taxes. I don't want to look into the 50s where even if a cop beats me up, there's absolutely no way for me to go and say, hey, this cop beat me up. You see, nostalgia means a lot different depending on who you are. Depending on who you are. Remember that. Daniel Edo says, replying to Lee Grant, that then Democrats would become irrelevant. Okay, I don't know. Actually, some Democrats are, in fact, already irrelevant. I can name you probably 10 of them. Eric Hayes says, having power in the hands of a few like it now, or whatever it is, not whatsoever, power is the hands of a few will doom everything and everyone is meant to benefit. This is whatever party in power, just the current one. Okay. Breach MCP says, hi all, the January 6th hearings are partisan. So far, only Republicans have testified about Trump's corruption. Breach, you see why I love you, girl? Because you had me going down the tree. I was going down there and I was like, Breach, come on, I can't believe you're saying that. And then you come in and you say, yeah, all the people that are condemning Trump right now are Republicans that were interviewed. In other words, when they got behind the curtains and were put under oath and had to tell the truth, Trump didn't look so good. All right, let's see what else we got. AC Rodriguez says, replying to Lee Grant, no, we need a truly free and independent press corporation rule. When the press does their job correctly by giving people context and objective facts, they can make the right decision. That's why there's Politics Done Right. And if you take a look at all the ratings for Politics Done Right, we're rated very high. Fox News is rated very low. We also have many of these other right-wing rags that are rated low. Okay, Daniel Edo says, keep my name out of your MF mouth. Oh, Daniel Edo, I love you, brother. I see you're channeling Will Smith. Good guy. Good boy. Good boy. All right. Michael Rudnick says, just remember that if Democrats don't prosecute all those who planned, incited, and participated in the January 6th failed insurrection, those who attempted sedition will do so again, and next time they might be successful. Throw them all in jail and lock them up. Shiva Las Vegas says, yes, sir. That is a fact and name. AC Rodriguez says, that's real. AC Rodriguez also says, hey there, sir. Haiku says, is Daniel quoting Will Smith? I think he is. Don't know, Haiku, but I'll quote Will Smith. Don't start nothing, won't be nothing. AC Rodriguez says, Lee Grant, Daniel Ado, remind us again, the ones that think attending college is for snobs. I seem to remember a few Republicans on the boat. Eric Hayes says, churches were held outside, bro, and isn't any of your business. Actually, it is my business. A church is tax exempt, and if they are responsible for killing people by staying in contact, polluting themselves, and then polluting the rest of the people they come in contact with, it is my business. It absolutely is my business. Since I am sustaining them, I am maintaining churches. As you guys give your monies to your pastors, as you guys give your money to the pastors who fly on helicopters first class and live in their mansions, I pay to make sure that they remain safe. So don't give me that. They don't carry their weight. They're a welfare recipient, the churches are. So don't give me that crap. Churches are nothing better than a welfare recipient. All of them. Because they don't pay taxes. So they are welfare recipients. Anything, any military service that's done for them, every police service that's done for them, everything that's done for them is done for free. They don't pay. So don't give me that about it's none of my business. Churches live on the land in the country that we defend. So folks, when you hear these church charlatanes come out and tell you things like that, you hit back at them. They are nothing but beggars. That's what churches are. Beggars. They don't pay taxes. They don't give any services but to a few. Please remember that, folks. Don't ever let them get away with that. Anytime I look at my Social Security bills, my Medicare bills, and the amount of monies that I've paid in taxes over the years, willfully that. When I hear these church people complain about the church and leave us alone or whatever, remember, you guys live on the dole. You churches live on the dole. So before you start talking about the welfare queen or anything, remember, you live on the dole. All right, let's continue. Let's see, E2247 says, sports writer Jeff Pearlman pointed out that 45 was followed old pattern, sending and insisting on a particular story contrary to all evidence just to be able to set up a personal win. Exactly right. Egberto from Lee Grant, you lied when you said Trump called neo-Nazis good people. Look at his speech. I looked at the speech. He said there were good peoples on this side and there were good peoples on that side. Okay? And that implicitly included neo-Nazis. You want to argue about that? Tom C., what's the opposite of left-wing progressive? Not a neoliberal, nor a conservative, nor a moderate. The opposite of a left-wing progressive is a right-wing regressive. Looking backwards, not forward. Tom C., put it in that poetry, brother. You have a lot more space on my website for all your poetry. I noticed you sent me some notes that I didn't respond to yet. We'll get up there, brother. Haiku says, LOL, they're scared of democracy. Of course they're scared of democracy. I wonder why. Republican Jesus meme. If they are hungry, cut benefits to programs that feed them. If they are sick, deny them health care because you want them to die. I added that. If they are strangers, deport them. Everything contrary to that. Daily Coast, Egberto is proud of writing for, has an article up right now calling for a war against conservatives and recommends killing them all. You know what? Let me see. Because you mentioned that article, I want to see that because I will report that right away. Let's see. Are not constrained by any. Oh, we can. If Republicans are over. Okay, I don't see. Let's get over there with so we can move on. I think you better reread that article. But I didn't read it in detail. But if that article says what you were to say, I would get it pulled down. Daniel Edo, you're proud of that, Egberto. Do you agree? I didn't read it in detail, but if it says anything, I will get it pulled down. Emma Becker says, reps are always do as I say, but we won't do as you say. Emma, you are wonderful. Eric Hayes says the progressive policies now are not working. Everything is in shambles, period. Wrong. Progressive policies work perfectly. It prevented us from going into a depression. Now, it put a lot of money into the hands of people. And of course, the plutocracy says, if people have money, we're going to take it all back away. Vis-a-vis inflation. Talk about that, and I hope I hurry and get through these so I can actually get to the New York Times article. All right, AC Rodriguez says, always have it on way, conservatives on Twitter. Emma Beckers, it's a matter of pride. Michael Rodden says, Fox News isn't covering the January 6th hearing. Actually, they covered it yesterday. Fox are covering news about the hearings. Multiple Fox personas have direct connections to events in the insurrection. Actually, Rodden, yesterday I watched it on Fox. They actually covered it on Fox. You know why they covered it on Fox? Because MSNBC beat them in the rating by carrying it. And Fox News, look, Fox News has no soul. Fox News is really neither Republican nor Democrat. Fox News is catering to their audience. And their audience, if their audience decided to go to MSNBC, which is what they did, they got scared. We may lose them forever because they may hear some truth and stay. That's why Fox News brought it back. So Fox News actually showed it yesterday. I was wondering, I'm like, oh, Fox kind of got smart, eh? All right, Tom C. says, Daniel Edo, Trump said there were good people on both sides, the neo-Nazis and the protesters. You know, again, these guys, if I am found in a misinterpreting something, I'll admit it. I don't lie, okay? I don't lie, period. Punto final. AVQ says, Tom C., just remember that YouTube comments are not directed to Facebook. Danny won't see your comments unless Egberto reads them out, which I just did. Daniel Edo says, Maywood, you can tell what he believes with the company he keeps. Yep, that's true. I love the people at Daily Kos. In fact, I am doing a GoFundMe so that my great listeners, providers, and all these folks that love politics done right, we are heading to Pittsburgh, and I'll have something special for those who support me in Pittsburgh when I put my GoFundMe up. I'm still thinking about some nice benefits to give those when I am in Pittsburgh. Maybe I'll carry you guys along with some of the politicians that we hang out with. So, folks, it's coming. Anyhow, let's continue. Thanks, Twitch, AVQ, Tom C. All right. E2247 says, across the U.S., those GOPers have rewritten election laws to prevent another stolen election. Joke. All right, let's see. Daniel Edo says, no, Maywood says, that's a conversation. Nonetheless, leading Republicans are willing to embrace the big lie in order to skew our election system to keep those like Trump in power. Daniel Edo says, we need to move out of this phase of coddling white supremacists and gun owners because we just don't quite understand them well enough to be able to make them understand our point of view. We need to put this stuff down now, even if it means another violent insurrection. These people are Putin wannabes. Let's Bayraktar them now. Oh, I completely disagree with that. Absolutely disagree with that. Let's see. Michael Rudnitz, and by the way, Ledo, thank you for actually copying the piece that you're talking about. That's what I ask people to do so that I don't have to be running from screen to screen. It's only me here from screen to screen to read it. So thank you for actually putting that out, senor. Let's see. Eric Hayes, it's my business. Like I said, they are on the dole. I pay for them. You pay for them and others. So therefore, I pay for them. It's my business. All right. Michael Rudnin says, New York Times from 2020, churches were eager to reopen. Now they are confronting coronavirus cases. There you go. It all comes down to who is welcome to participate in self-government in the United States, and we have been here before. Yes, the Red Scare, etc., etc., etc. Michael Rudin says churches offer their congregations an invisible product, and somebody's spamming me with all that porn. Great, have a spammer on YouTube. Okay, let's see. Bridge MCP, don't you have the ability to kill those to kill those messages? I think if you don't, let me know. I'll give you the ability to kill those spam messages. I can't. I don't want to go change screens right now. Roberto Luis está con nosotros. Roberto is doing some master cooking, vegetables on the grill and all of that. And he came over here on Sunday and gave us a hell of a meal. He gave us what we call a good Panamanian sopong. If you guys ever saw that soup, if I get a picture, I'll put it up in a little bit. All right, let's see. AC Rodriguez says, yes, sir. They are welfare queens. They don't pay any taxes to maintain any infrastructure that their people use to get to the building. I know they just use us. That's all the churches do, use us. They fool people, they take their money, and they use us. Why are some nonprofit organizations not reporting and buying $1 million homes? The same thing that churches are doing, you mean? They all do it. Nonprofit, they follow the same rules. All right, and in fact, we held out on the churches here, and there was an article in the New York Times, and rather in the Houston Chronicles that did that. Socialists hate institutions like churches because they don't want competition for their secular religion. My wife is a deacon at a church. I don't hate churches. My wife's church does great work in the community, unlike most of these other rich churches who only consider getting rich, period. All right, Lee Grant, secularism doesn't require religion. I mean, if you need a religion, you can keep it. Just don't expect it to be government funded or promoted. Where did the sound go? Sound is still here, Maywood. Sound is still here. All right, I got to play another video real quick, and then we'll get back to, then at about 10 minutes till I'm going to do the New York Times things. But anyhow, let's go ahead now and listen to Fox News telling the truth. Let's listen to Fox News telling the truth. Extra, extra, you won't believe this. Fox News did a great thing. Check this out.
January 6th hearing, Thursday night, prime time. You say it was totally partisan, and you could certainly make that case, given that every member is anti-Trump. But let's go beyond that. Does that mean the media shouldn't cover it much? Does it mean they should dismiss videotape depositions from the likes of Bill Barr, Jason Miller, Jared Kushner, Ivanka Trump?
Well, the way that I viewed it, Howie, is I think we have numbers now that are in, and you cover this.
19 million, yeah.
But just wasn't, to put this in prime time, the numbers were way down. So I don't understand how these big corporations, it was spread across some 20 different networks. When you compare Fox News, which did not air that live, I mean, just destroyed CNN and MSNBC in the ratings, right? Their direct competition. So
well,
I don't think the American people
networks like MSNBC did very well covering this hearing. Obviously, it would appeal to the liberal viewers of that network.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, folks? As it turns out, MSNBC did by itself now. MSNBC by itself did much better than did Fox News in that time slot. In fact, I think it was number one, if I recall correctly. CNN was under, but it didn't matter because the composite of all the people watching, unlike the past, way exceeded by 17 million people or so what people watched on Fox. So, as it turns out, lie corrected, well, kind of, sort of, but that's much better when it's coming from Fox. Fox News told the truth. Extra, extra, read all about it. Anyhow, yeah, the fact of the matter is it turns out that MSNBC beat Fox News by a landslide during the hearings. So Nunes goes on with a straight face, and he just lies to, they think so little of their audience that they just lie and lie and lie, and their people just eat it up and believe it and believe it and believe it. But anyhow, let's see what time is it. It's 39. So it's time for me to go ahead and do my ask. So folks, here's my ask. Politics Done Right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet seeded with blogs and information to counter the right and to present what progressives represent for the benefit of us all to everybody, so that it's not misread, misled by any other entity. We make sure and populate that internet with blogs, with videos, with all these other things to make sure that we are informed and to counter everything that you normally hear that are lying at the right. We also make sure to create articles in magazines, articles in newspapers all around the country to ensure, again, that our message gets out there. Last but not least, We also write books. As you see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom, How to Make America Utopia, are two of the many books that I've written on these issues. So please support us in one of many ways. Numero uno, you can support us at PayPal, either one time or monthly. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can support us on Patreon. That is politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. You can support us by becoming a part of our YouTube channel, going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, or you can support us in many other forms that you can find at politicsdoneright.com/support. Be sure to visit our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. Politics Done Right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet. Yep, my fingers were not fast enough, but I tried. My fingers were not fast enough. So please, folks, find a way to support us if you can, if you have the wherewithal, because we have to continue providing these truthful messages and also using this forum to entertain the conversation that others will ultimately see and can take a look at as well. Anyhow, Peggy Lopez says, no, wait, before that, I need to go further up. I had to scroll down. All right, let's see. The committee hearings, next public hearing will be on Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time due to not hearing today. That was E2247. Michael Rudnan says, Lee Grant, secularism doesn't require religion. I mean, if you need, I read that one already. Now let's get down to AC Rodriguez, who said, progressive policies like Social Security and Medicare work when they are not undermined by conservatives, and conservative policies of cut taxes and don't fund any public programs never work. And of course, we also know that all the policies that progressive pass helps out a hell of a lot of conservatives, if not most. Eric Hayes says, depression, no, theirs wasn't the same as 2007, 2008. Real estate bubble different than coming back from a pandemic and no recession there. Just let people go back to work. Trillion gives in being spent by poor and middle. That is incoherent, but not only that, it doesn't make it's not, for anybody who knows economics, it doesn't make economic sense, my brother. So stick to just doing the additions and subtractions in the accounting. All right. Peggy Lopez says, hi all. Today in 1951, UNIVAC, the first commercially produced digital computer, is dedicated. We are here with Egberto because of this day. Exactly right, Peggy. Exactly right. UNIVAC, and that was it. It occupies several big rooms, and the amount of heat that it generated was amazing. Michael Rudnan, well, that is a conversation. Let's go to Haiku says, Lee Grant, can we see you nothing but about social? That's another conversation. Daniel says, the people Egberto loves at Daily Kos are implicitly endorsing a civil war and killing of conservatives. I don't think that's what it was saying, but if that's what you got, it's wrong. Is this your humanity, Egberto? Is this your tolerance? Is this your most secret wish as well? No. I love everybody, Daniel, even you. And I genuinely mean that. I genuinely mean that. All my conservatives, my liberals, my anarchists, everybody. Anybody who knows me would tell you that this is real. All right? And even as you come and you slice me and you cut me up and you attack me, doesn't make a difference. Because I understand where all of that is coming from. So I don't look at that as you. So folks, when you see these people attack me, the reason you see me just take it and it rubs right off, it genuinely doesn't have an effect on me. And it really doesn't change my care for humanity, care for people. Because the only way we are going to make a change is understand that all these people that have these different thoughts, they're just sick. That's it. And when you talk to the real human person, I mean, I tell you this, when we get together on Ask Egberto Anything from all sides, and we get together and we talk as just human beings, disagreeing and agreeing, because we're one on one and one on many, many on one, it is amazing that you can see the humanity in everybody. That's why you guys should come, because even Daniel Ledo's been at Ask Egberto Anything. Eric Hayes has been at Ask. I'm talking about my conservatives now. And we have great conversation. And with Daniel too. Daniel said his piece. There are things that we completely disagree with Daniel. But when you get Daniel one-on-one, he's a nice guy. A lot of you guys just look at the way he speaks here and you think, he's a terrible person. And then when we all get together, the humanity of everybody comes out. And that's who I am, and that's who I love. Haiku says, I reported the spam. Thank you very much, Haiku. No issue with audio. What did you say? Missed it. Oh, I don't know what you meant. But anyway, what I said to you, though, Bridges, I think you have permission on YouTube to clean this up, if you don't mind. Dave Smith says, if you want to pay $2 more for a cup of coffee, I don't know what you mean by that, Dave Smith, but I know you meant something. Most churches aren't rich. Keep telling yourself that just like the billionaires' lies dispute. No, I didn't say most churches are rich at all. But the churches that take most of the money are a few and rich. And what they do is buy planes and all these kinds of things. But if you go to my wife's neighborhood in South Park, you'll see a lot of churches made into homes. And it's, they probably have a pew of 200 or maybe 100 or so. And they barely make it. And the pastor drives an old car. And, they do the right thing. Haiku, it's Nunes-related cow. I don't know. That's so they say. All right, let's see. All right, let's go ahead and bring up that you don't have permission on YouTube. I'll fix that and let you know then. Melanie, getting in late evening. Hi, Melanie Keelan. Love that you're here, my dear, beautiful lady. Eric A. says, Egberto, you are in rare form today, thinking you are so smart, but not everyone thinks you, and attacking people is not good. I don't think I'm too smart at all. In fact, I always tell people I'm always ready to be corrected. I think the only reason you said that I think I'm too smart today, and folks, if I'm acting wrong or somehow different, let me know. I'll love to know. But I think what happened is because you put, Brother Eric, you put a lot of crap coming from the right wing, and I just went ahead and corrected it and suggested that you stop doing that. All of us here are trying to educate each other. WTF do you think happens when you bake or tar someone? I don't know. Okay, I'm glad you stand corrected, sir. I'm glad you stand corrected. All right, let's see. Michael Rowan said, Egberto, if you can give Bridge moderator permission on YouTube, I will. Actually, I'll give you to Mr. Michael. I'm going to give you, Bridge, and a couple of other of my great trusted supporters. You guys are going to get that moderating thing. I'm going to set you guys up. So let's say, no, Eric, you didn't correct me, sir. I corrected what you had to say. And many in the room also corrected what you had to say. Read through the comments and you'll see how wrong you were, sir. Still love you, but you were wrong. You're wrong. You're just simply wrong. All right, let's go ahead and get into, and let me put it up on the screen. And this is what really got to me. This is what really got to me. Is greedflation rewriting economics, or do old rules still apply? All right. In the purported market system, the idea was that we will let the market dictate things. In other words, if there is a shortage of something, the prices will go up and less people would buy it, but because they buy it at a higher price, people will see things being purchased at a higher price, and more manufacturing or growing or whatever it takes to make more of that product would come out, thus allowing more of that product on the market for the prices to drop, and then those of lesser means then can go ahead and purchase the product. Come on, Michael, this is a good subject that you would have a lot of input on. So therefore, that is how it actually works, right? In other words, that's how the supply and demand is claimed to be to work. But what I already claim is that there's no real market. There is a mythical market, right? Because those rules assume that the market is, one, free. It also assumes that everybody has equal access to the market, and it also assumes that people work fairly. And all those assumptions are wrong, because it doesn't take into account that by definition, a true capitalist is a psychopath. Let me explain. I know it sounds rough, but let me explain. When you have somebody like Jeff Bezos, who has more money than he could spend, want to make sure that no taxes can reach him, that's a psychopath. And the same applies to every billionaire who complains about taxes. Now, there are good billionaires. We can take a look at Bill Gates. I don't believe he earned his money, but we can look at him. He's not trying to avoid taxes. In fact, he's trying to be very benevolent with his outpouring and with him giving away all his money. And so it goes with the other rich guy, the oracle from Dakota or from Nebraska. Okay, those are good billionaires because, again, they're talking about giving away their monies. But that is how the system is generally supposed to work. But what do we have for real? What we really have, and I want you guys to look at that article. It's at the New York Times, and it's called, Is Greedflation Rewriting Economics? And it says, there are few good things about living through a period with the highest inflation in 4 decades. But here's one. It's a chance to re-examine what happens in an economy that has gone haywire. And that is exactly right. We have gone haywire because what we have proven with this economy is that the psychopaths who run the economy will take everything given to the average American citizen. Let's create 2 stories here. And you guys can read the article on your own. But suffice it to say that the article plays both sides, okay? It plays both sides. So here's what I want you guys to realize here. In that perfect market where supply eventually meets demand because the price goes up and then it normalizes itself. Thank you for telling me it's Buffett. You're so right, Eric. It normalizes itself and the prices go down. But in our current economy, what is being said is this. If you're wealthy and have money, it's good and you will always do fine. But if you are poor, or if you are given money, we will find a way to take it away so that you don't accumulate more. Let's give an example. You hear all the wealthy people saying the reason we have inflation is because of Biden giving away all that stimulus money. I hate to say this. While I was saying for the longest time that inflation isn't caused because Biden gave away that money, I must correct that and say it wasn't caused by Biden giving them money. It was caused because Biden gave them money and other people wanted to steal that money. Example. There is enough oil going around. There is enough petroleum going around the country because they've done a study to find out if Americans with these high prices of gasoline, if they have dropped their usage substantially. The answer to that, no. And why haven't they dropped their usage substantially? They have not dropped their usage substantially because Biden gave them money, because they got a stimulus check. So as these companies increase prices, they have the money within their pockets to go ahead and pay for the gas. That sounds benevolent. Okay, so, you got more money, they raise the tax. But what you don't see is the evil behind that. If we have more money in our pockets, the middle class have been hurting for decades since Reagan and his Reaganomics, supply side economics. If you take a look at the charts, wages have been stagnant for decades. Productivity has been going through the roof. Productivity has been up over that time over 400%. We should all be working a 10-hour week under that scenario, but we're not. We're still working hard for the same amount of money as the wealthy continues to zoom past all of us. In fact, 10% of Americans own 90% of the wealth. I'm sorry, 75% of the wealth. 74% of the wealth. Okay. So what happens? We get a relief from our hard-earned tax dollars that we paid over the decades. We get a relief. Biden gives some of the money back to the people. And the plutocracy, the corporatocracy, they say, "Niet, you are not going to take that money and save substantially more. You are not going to take that money and buy substantially more other stuff. Those of us in power right now are not going to allow you to use that money to make yourself better, to let you build wealth and all of that. We are not going to allow that. We are going to take that money. And how do we take that money? By something called inflation. And we just create inflation. Again, supply and demand. If there is a lack of supply, it's justified that the price goes up to reduce usage. But increasing the price for the sake of increasing the price, which in a capitalist society is legal, which can be done, is actually evil. And it's the reason why we say capitalism is an inhumane, draconian failure for the middle class and the poor, because they have the right to do it. Under the system, whatever the market will bear. And because Biden put more money into people's pocket, the market could bear a higher price for gas. But it could also have borne the same price for gas and buying other stuff or saving other monies or paying off more debt. But those animals, those animals who run the corporations say, we got our chance. They have to buy milk. They have to buy eggs. They have to buy flour. They have to drive to work. Let's just take it because they have it. And that is capitalism at its best. It's no accident. The poor remains poor or continue to get poorer. That's capitalism. That is how it works. Whatever the market will bear, and if you get some money if you get back some of your hard-earned tax dollars back from your government, these guys are going to take it right back. They take the tax cuts. They take your money. They take it all the time. And there are solutions to this, my brothers and sisters. Elect the right people. Elect progressives. And what are progressives going to do? We have the answers. We are going to give you family leave, which means when you have a kid and when something happens in your life, just like the wealthy person can take off whatever it takes to go take your business, we'll do that. Rent control, as Kathy Pasquale just said. Yeah, we won't allow them to pilfer you. Yesterday I told you about what these corporations are doing, buying up properties on the cheap, renting it back to you, and making sure you can't afford to own your own home. It's by design. So progressives will come into office and present laws to stop these things. What else would we do? We would make sure that you have a basic income. Nobody should actually be on the streets in America. Nobody. And the thing to believe that, oh, there are just some people who want to live on the dole, you are right. But the people who live on the dole are the wealthy people. The people who live on the dole are the pastors pastoring churches. The people who live on the dole are the ones that you least expect. Yeah, you have that little guy out there that doesn't want to do anything. But most of the people that I know, they want to work. If they could get somebody to take their kids while they're going to work. We believe in family values. We believe in family values. So again, you get family leave. You get basic income. You also get to make sure that those who are ripping you off at the billion-dollar level pay their fair share, and we start the process of taking away what was stolen. The mythical market does not ever and has not ever worked. Rent control sure to kill new building, and you know what? I tell you what, if people want, these psychopaths that call them self-capitalists, right? They say, oh, if you have rent control, we'll stop building. Okay, so then the government starts building. All you would do is anything that you guys don't want to do because you say it's too many taxes, the government will just take over and do it. It's that simple. We won't miss a beat. You see, that's what you guys don't understand, and that's what you guys fear. That for some reason we somehow get good government, and when we get good government, they start to do good things. That's your biggest fear. That is why conservatives are so lousy at government, because they fear that government can do so much better if it's run by good people, ethical people, moral people, humane people. who care about people. Because we know somebody who's just working for whatever the market will bear, there's not much there. It's that simple. AC Rodriguez says, if the mythical market works, why doesn't one of the oil companies eat the inflation and sell more fuel at a cheaper price? Answer, because they don't have to. You will buy it at whatever price they set because you have to get to work or take your kids to the doctor. Michael Rudden says, Eric Hayes, word about 7% inflation rate. Global inflation right now is at 5.7% from the United Monetary Fund. War-induced commodity price increases and broadening price led to 2022 inflation. Coop says, Lee Grant, but don't you want Biden-controlled prices? Eric Hayes, family unit suffers. Oh, brother. Anyway, we are out of time right now, but please read the article. I have it linked in the blog for the show. But again, I want you guys to understand this. The corporate structure is pilfering you. They are taking your money. The reason they can have these prices higher is because there's money in the market, right? Everybody got some money, and they are taking it right back away from you. So it's a government gave you the money that all of us paid into taxes, and then the corporations take it, pocket it, and give it to the wealthy people who own the shares and their bonuses. Don't forget, that's the monetary cycle that is occurring right now. You can change this by electing the right people. You can change this by making sure those thugs, those psychopaths who run corporations pay their fair share in taxes. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.